Long before Babylon, before Egypt's golden thrones and Greece's marble gods, there was Sumer. It rose not in myth but in mud, in the river-forked land of Mesopotamia, where the Tigris and Euphrates carved out the world's first memory. Here, in the cradle of civilization, humanity took its first steps into history. Sumer gave us writing, kingship, cities. This was not a myth. It was the beginning. But how did this forgotten land give birth to everything we call civilization today? From mud brick and river clay, the Sumerians built wonders the world had never seen. Not kingdoms, but city-states, each a world unto itself. Uruk, Ur, Lagash, Eridu, and Nippur, cities with walls that touched the horizon and ziggurats that scraped the sky. They were ruled by priest-kings who claimed to speak for the gods. Their word was law, their temples gateways to heaven. In the heart of each city, life pulsed, scribes recording history on clay tablets, traders battering in bustling markets, and priests chanting before sacred fires. The Sumerians did not merely survive, they defined what it meant to be civilized. These cities gave birth to bureaucracy, law, and architecture. From cuneiform to irrigation canals, they reshaped the land and the human story. But how did these mighty city-states rise in harmony, only to fall into rivalry, war, and bloodshed? Before Olympus, before Asgard, there was the pantheon of Sumer. Anu, the god of the heavens. Enlil, the lord of wind and authority. Enki, the keeper of knowledge, and Inanna, the fierce goddess of love and war. These were not distant deities. They walked among men. They judged, they blessed, they cursed. And their temples, ziggurats rising like mountains, became bridges between heaven and earth. Each city had its god. Uruk had Inanna, Nippur bowed to Enlil, Eridu worshipped Enki, and to defy a city was to defy its god. The myths they told were stories of cosmic balance, of floods, of rivalries, of order pulled from chaos. Myths that would echo into later civilizations, from Babylon to the Hebrews. But who were these gods really? And why do their names still whisper through our histories? In the heart of Sumer, where rivers whispered secrets and priests read the stars, a miracle emerged, not of stone or bronze, but of words, cuneiform, not carved into monuments, but pressed into wet clay by a stylus of reed. From symbols of grain and flocks to poem of the gods, writing became the thread that bound heaven and earth, king and priest, myth and memory. And in this golden dawn of expression stood a woman, Enneduanna, the high priestess of the moon god Nana, daughter of Sargon the Great, the first author in history known by name. She didn't just record laws or trade, she composed hymns, divine songs of devotion to Inanna. Her voice echoes still across millennia as the first to bridge human emotion and eternal script. She wrote not just for kings, but for the soul of civilization. If Sumer birthed writing, what truths were they first compelled to preserve? As writing flourished, so did power. From scattered villages to mighty cities, Sumer rose from mud brick to majesty. Uruk, the city of Gilgamesh, a metropolis of walls and wonders, where ziggurats pierced the heavens and canals shimmered with the lifeblood of commerce. Or, sacred to the moon god, its royal tombs brimming with treasures that still baffle the modern world. And with the rise of cities came the kings, not merely rulers, but chosen intermediaries between gods and men. They held the me, the divine decrees of order, law, wisdom, art, fertility, all etched in fate. In their courts, music played. In their temples, rituals soared. In their streets, life pulsed with invention and pride. Sumer gave the world its first cities, and with them, the first foundations of civilization itself. But who were these kings? Divine agents or tyrants cloaked in sacredness? And what secrets lie buried beneath the ruins of all? In the land between rivers, gods walked among men. Every tree, river, and star had a name, a divine force behind it. Anu, king of the heavens; Enlil, lord of the wind and decrees; Enki, the clever god of wisdom and water; and Inanna, goddess of war and love, fiery, unpredictable, revered above all. Their stories filled clay tablets, epic poems, cosmic battles, love affairs, and descents into the underworld. These weren't just myths. They explained the floods, the harvests, the victories, the plagues. The gods gave Sumer its laws, its kings, and its destiny. And in the great temples, ziggurats rising like stairways to the stars, priests communed with the divine. Sumer's gods became the blueprint for later pantheons, from Babylon to Greece. Before Zeus, there was Enlil. Before Aphrodite, there was Inanna. Their myths are the DNA of human imagination. But were they merely stories, or did the Sumerians witness something divine? Sumer rose from mud and stars, but it would not last. The cities grew, crowded, proud and powerful. But with wealth came conflict. With kings came tyranny. And with pride came the fall. Drought struck the land. The once mighty Euphrates shrank. Crops failed. Wars erupted between city-states. Oh, Lagash, Umma, all vying for control. Enemies pressed in. The Akkadians from the north, the Elamites from the east. The gods, it seemed, had turned away. Ziggurats crumbled. Temples fell silent. And the voice of the scribes faded into dust. But Sumer did not vanish. It echoed in Babylon, in Assyria, in every law, every myth, every word written on clay. It was the end of Sumer, but the birth of legacy. How did the world's first civilization collapse? And could the fate of Sumer warn us about our own future? Long before Rome, before Egypt raised its pyramids, before the Hebrews walked with prophets, there was Sumer. From the mud of the rivers, they carved the first bricks. From the silence of the stars, they summoned the first gods. They gave us writing, they gave us kings, they gave us time itself, measured in 60 beats. Even in ruins, their voices whisper, on every stone law, in every temple built, in every story that speaks of heaven and earth. Sumer was not merely a place, it was a beginning. And though its cities sleep beneath the sands, its legacy still breathes in every civilization that came after. What began in Sumer still shapes our world.